Good morning, superstars, and welcome back to your first English lesson of the half term. Now, what we're going to do today, we are going to be starting on a new topic, as you will already realise already, and we're going to be reading a little bit of The Iron Man by the man called Ted Hughes. And the first chapter is called The Coming of Iron Man. And what I've done, I've typed this book out, well, a little bit of it, a little bit of chapter one, and we're going to read it together. And whilst you're looking through this and reading it alongside with me, what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to look at the words that really stand out. I'll go through a couple of them with you. These are called pound words. Now, the pound words are words that are amazing. They really grab your attention. And then you can get penny words that aren't as amazing, still good words, but they're not as amazing and strong. I'll have a look with you in a minute. Okay, so let's get reading. So, The Coming of Iron Man. Chapter 1. The Iron Man came to the top of the cliff. How far had he walked? Nobody knows. Where had he come from? Nobody knows. How was he made? Nobody knows. Taller than a house, the Iron Man stood at the top of the cliff, on the very brink in the darkness. Now I'm going to highlight this word brink because that is a pound word. It makes you think a little bit more. The wind sang through his iron fingers. His grey iron head, shaped like a dustbin, but as big as a bedroom, slowly turned to the right, slowly turned to the left. His iron ears turned this way, that way. He was hearing the sea, his eyes like headlamps. Now, headlamps is another pound word, isn't it? Grabs your attention. Glowed white, glowed's another one. They glowed white, then red. The infrared, searching the sea. Infrared is another pound word. It really grabs your attention. But I'm not going to highlight anymore because you can be writing these down. The infrared, searching the sea. Never before had the Iron Man seen the sea. He swayed in the strong wind that pressed against his back. He swayed forward on the brink of the high cliff. And his right foot, his enormous iron right foot, lifted up, out into space, and the Iron Man stepped forward, off the cliff, into nothingness. That doesn't sound good, does it? Crash! Down the cliff the Iron Man came toppling, head over heels. Crash, crash, crash. From rock to rock, snag to snag, tumbling slowly. And as he crashed and crashed and crashed, his iron legs fell off. His iron arms broke off, and the hands broke off the arms. His great iron ears fell off, and his eyes fell out. His great iron head fell off too. All the separate pieces tumbled, scattered, crashing, bumping, clanging down onto the rocky beach far below. A few rocks tumbled with him. Then silence. Only the sound of the sea chewing away at the edge of the rocky beach, where the bits and pieces of the Iron Man lay scattered far and wide, silent and unmoving. Only one of the iron hands, lying beside an old sand-logged, washed-up seaman's boat, waved its fingers for a minute, like a crab on its back. Then it lay still. Whilst the stars went on wheeling through the sky, and the wind went on tugging at the grass on the cliff top, and the sea went on boiling and booming, nobody knew the Iron Man had fallen. Night passed. Just before dawn, as the darkness grew blue and the shapes of the rocks separated from each other, two seagulls flew, crying over the rocks. They landed on the patch of sand. They had two chicks in the nest on the cliff. Now they were searching for food. One of the seagulls flew up. Hawk! Then he had seen something. He glided low over the sharp rocks. He landed and picked something up. Something shiny, round and hard. It was one of the Iron Man's eyes. He brought it back to his mate. They both looked at this strange thing, and the eye looked at them. It rolled from side to side, looking first at one gull, then at the other. The gulls peering at it and thought it was a strange kind of clam, peeping at them from its shell. So, Year 3, what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to look through this text. You can pause it throughout. You can write all those pound words that I mentioned, And what I'd like you to do is really think about the Iron Man's description. Now, there is a little bit of a clue all the way up here. Okay, so there's a bit of a clue in this paragraph. I'll mark it out for you so that you can really see it. There you go. So there's lots of description about the Iron Man there. Make sure you write that down following the steps that I've given you, okay? I hope that makes sense, superstars. Any problems, just let me know. See you soon.